How's everyone today? Welcome, welcome. New Mexico hell. Oh my goodness. Local Charm is here. K Warehouse is here. Blessed Turtle Mama, the Shadowed Swan. With Love Beyonce. So explain why it's New Mexico HE double toothpick. Wolfie Tang. Lauren Ram. House of Goods. Good morning. So I'm on the treadmill. So if you haven't joined me before, I'm walking. We chat while I walk. So put any questions or comments you have in the chat with a question mark. So they show up bold so I can read them. New Mexico Cell. Ah, there we go. Trash Panda's here. Vintage Artifacts is here. Chell. There you go. New Mexico Chell. Gotcha. Because I didn't see the CH on there. Well, it's an okay idea. I enjoy doing it because my original thought was I'm going to be on Whatnot watching other people's shows, risking buying stuff. So I might as well be on here doing something more productive, right? Than buying. So, because I always would, for years, when I exercise on my treadmill, I would always watch shows or listen to podcasts or, and lately, my new obsession, of course, is Whatnot. So that's what I'd be doing anyway. Have to be honest. All right. How's everyone? Smile for J9 is here. Welcome, welcome. The sun is shining here. That's always nice. I live in Utah. We do get sunshine most of the year, but it's been kind of a slow spring. We had snow last week. In the morning, it snowed and snowed and snowed. Everything was covered. It looked like Christmas again. And then within a couple of hours, it completely melted off. So anyway, but it's been nice the last few days, but still a little bit chilly. All right, so read the show notes. I have in my show notes just some information. Welcome. Please feel free to share your shows and follow each other and promote your shows. Tell us what status you're in, new, sort of new, thinking about being new. And I've got a little thing there about please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Draz on Whatnot. It allows you to rewatch or watch seller chats that you've missed because we do multicast on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube or Facebook joining us there, you can join us on Whatnot by clicking the link to come on over to Whatnot. You had snow too. Okay, yeah. It was just this kind of funky little storm that came through, huh? All right. Shadowed Swan has her second show tomorrow night. My first show was amazing. I sell vintage and antiques. Lots of printer trays, geese, ducks, etc. Awesome. Multicast is not hard to set up, but you do have to meet the requirements of the app that you multicast to. So, for example, you have to have at least 50 subscribers on YouTube. And then on Facebook, it's way more, like hundreds of followers. So you have to meet their minimums and then you have to just set it up. And the way that you set it up is when you press go live, right? You know how you say go live and then it says, are you sure you want to, whatever? There's a little thing in that pop-up menu that says something about multicasting. So you click that and it takes you over to another menu where you can try and connect your YouTube and your Facebook. There's a couple of really good, well, Whatnot themselves has published a really good tutorial about how to multicast. So if you go to frequently asked questions and just type in the word multicast, it will take you to that article. And then DeeArchivist, DEE_archivist, has a YouTube video about how to get connected. She is a seller here on the app and is awesome about techie stuff. So if you want to learn about multicasting, go to that Whatnot article and also go watch DeeArchivist's video on YouTube. And yeah, it's not hard to do. Whatnot automates it through Facebook, YouTube, and that other one that's Twitch, I think is called. I don't use Twitch, so I don't know anything about it. But those are the three that they allow you to automatically multicast through the Whatnot app. So New Mexico Shell has first show today. Oh, wow. Everyone, please make sure you're following New Mexico Shell. And let's go out to her profile. Her name is Michelle. Makes sense, Shell. And let's bookmark that show today. Launch party show, beading and jewelry making. So everybody give Shell, she's only got 6 bookmarks. Can everyone go give her a bookmark that's here? And let's get those numbers boosted up. Go bookmark all her shows. It's exciting to have a first show, but nerve-wracking. So if you've had your first show already, you know what that's like. So make sure and give her some support by bookmarking her shows. And she's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's doing all the things right. She's got shows scheduled out. That is the right thing to do so that you can get bookmarks gathered for the upcoming shows. She's got a consistent thumbnail, thumbnail on each of her shows. She's got titles. I would recommend New Mexico Shell that you add some information about yourself to the top of your profile. So you've got, put something fun behind your picture there and, some kind of backdrop, and then also add some information to your profile just so people could learn a little bit about you. So that's exciting. Congrats. All right, let's see. Smile for J9 is a seller, laser engraving and miscellaneous. My 3rd show coming soon. Only made 4 sales, but not going to give up. Well, of course you're not going to give up. Okay, so that's awesome. And congrats. And everybody give Smile for J9 a follow and go bookmark that 3rd show. And I will tell you, there's categories that are pretty easy to jump into and start selling in, and then there's some that aren't as easy. And those of us who like to be more creative and hand make and things like that, it is a little bit slower pace here just because Whatnot is not known as the place yet to go for handmade. It's coming. And the more of us who promote and start doing it, the better it's going to get. So, and it is good to have a niche, and it makes you stand out a little bit more. It's just harder sometimes to be found and find an audience. So don't be discouraged. Just know that you have to well, here's the thing. If you want to do creative and handmade and you need more income from it than what you're going to get just doing that, you need to mix it in with other things. If you're cool with it being a hobby and you go live a couple of times a week and it's okay, you just want to do it and have fun and slowly build it up, then that's cool too. So just depends on what your goals are. Be realistic about goals and what you want to do with something, and make sure that what you're doing aligns with what your goals are. So, you can't expect to be in a certain category of items and have it blow up overnight if it's not a realistic thing. So write down what your goals are and incrementally do things to achieve those goals and do realistic things that will help you get there. The person I said to follow on YouTube, well, me in the show notes, Draz on Whatnot. That's my YouTube channel. If you'll go subscribe to that, it's in the show notes. Then you will be able to rewatch and watch past seller chats if you missed one, or if there was something you wanted to remember, you can go back and rewatch it. And then the other person, if you want to learn about multicasting, I'll put her in the chat. It is D Archivist, DEE, and then underscore archivist. I just put it in chat. So, no, I didn't. Let me get it in there. I did try. There we go. D Archivist, that one. So that's the other person, because she does, she's kind of techie and does, teaches people about how to do some of the techie stuff. So yeah. All right, tomorrow morning is my community seller chat where we're going to go over shipping in depth. And I have some pretty good ideas of kind of how to walk beginners through shipping. So we're going to kind of do a lot of visual things so that, that it will make more sense visually, because a lot of people are visual learners. You need tactile learners. They need to see something visual to make it make sense. So we're going to do that. Okay, so make sure you're there tomorrow morning. It's on my schedule. Let me just show you that show right there. So make sure you're bookmarked for that show tomorrow morning. We're going to do some giveaways and just talk about shipping. So, and like I said, I'm going to do some serious visual stuff to help everybody kind of, because I think the biggest thing is that people aren't able to visualize how to do shipping, because the possibilities of what people might buy in your shows are, you just don't know. And so you have to, go through the mental gymnastics of kind of figuring it out. Honestly, you kind of have to curate your shows around shipping to a certain extent, so that so that you won't get in a bind with trying to get your shipping done. Yeah, so make sure you have that bookmarked. And so I do. Oh, New Mexico Shell says I do it as a hobby much better than bomb party. Not sure what you mean by bomb party, but yeah. So just depends. But yeah, just know that handmade, no matter where you're at, if you want to sell online, handmade is can be difficult, just because not everybody appreciates handmade, not everybody understands handmade, and there's so much competition out there from cheaply made goods from other sources, and so you have to educate value, educate quality, and and recognize, it's not that something can't go viral, it can, but then how do you mass produce it? So, it's kind of one of those things. So, welcome in, Love, Brenda, and Mr. Goofin. Everybody read the show notes. Please make sure you're following each other. A lot of people are like, why should I follow all these people that come in to a show like this? I don't know them. I don't know what they sell, etc., etc. Well, when you're new to a selling platform, you need followers, you need bookmarks, and there's no real true way to get additional ones other than friends and family, other than this, because people are going to have to discover you, and you can help each other out as new sellers by following each other and bookmarking each other's shows. Even if you're not necessarily going to attend that show, a bookmark is a bookmark, and it gives the software, the algorithms, the idea that there's interest in what you're doing, and it's going to give you a higher position in search. So make sure you do that for each other. Networking is huge, you guys. House of Good said it. Networking is huge, and you can meet people who are, in the same position as you. You can make some friends. You can make some allies. You can find someone who maybe becomes a really good friend on this app who, supports you, maybe moderates for you, all of those good things. So networking is huge. All right. Find someone who's in the same state as you. Find someone who sells in a similar category. And you're so much better off together than you are trying to do this alone. I've seen a lot of sellers come onto this app with the attitude of everybody else's competition, and they are gone. They're gone because they chose to try and just use the app as a platform for selling, which you can do, but Whatnot is more about community and about networking and supporting each other and social media. It's just as much that as it is selling. So if your attitude is, I just want to come on here and sell like crazy and I don't care about anybody else, it's just all about me, it's going to be hard. Now, I'm not saying it can't be done. It can be done if you've got the right products and the right personality and all that good stuff. There's some big sellers who blow it up, and maybe they really don't network and be part of the community. But the successful ones that last, they do become part of the community. Yeah, House of Goods says, I was initially shocked at how supportive this community is. I've met some of the most wonderful people there. Yes. And, the people who are not part of that are, flash in the pan. They come in, they do something, they realize that, people don't put up with crap, negativity, trolling, all that garbage. And they move on pretty fast. And Whatnot, although they're growing fast and there's lots of growing pains, Whatnot does do their due diligence and get rid of bad sellers. Sometimes it takes longer because they have to really, you have to be careful because you don't want to get yourself in trouble for banning someone who legitimately didn't do anything wrong. So you do give people a chance to screw up, which is nice because a lot of us screw up unintentionally, so we don't necessarily intend to, have things broken or shipped late or whatever, but things happen. And when you're new and you don't always know what you're doing 100%, things happen. So they have grace for everybody makes mistakes. But when someone keeps making mistakes and shows that they're intentionally a bad egg, they get rid of them. So that's awesome. Yes, people are very supportive on here, even if they sell the same things. So, and here's the thing about that. You look at other people that may be selling in the same category as you, and yes, technically they are competition, but do they always go live at the same time as you? Do they have exactly the same products at the same time as you? Do they have the same personality? Do they attract the same customers? Do they, the list goes on. And the answer is no. everybody's different. Everybody's unique. Everybody comes on at different times. You know, there's room for everybody because not everybody is exactly the same. J Coop Threads, what a nice gesture for a tip. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate that. Make sure you're following J Coop Threads. All right, so Heart Centered Soul says, I'm curious about something that was brought up in a recent seller chat. They suggested stay away from bundles until you get to know shipping. Okay, well, meaning stay away from selling large bundles of items. Is that what they meant? Or did they mean, ship everything separately? Because you're not going to get customers if you're shipping everything separately. People aren't going to be happy if they're paying separate shipping on every item. So if that's what you meant, then that's not good advice. If you mean like don't do shows where you're bundling a bunch of stuff, that's possibly good advice because you need to understand how shipping works before you're able to sell things in big lots. That the weight categories are all in the shipping. Let me make sure I read that correctly. Okay. Jay Coop, I appreciate your walkie talks. I walk now every day you do while learning so much. That's awesome. I'm excited that you're walking with me. Very good. All right. So even if we sell the same thing and go live at the same time, we all have different personalities. Yes. And people click with different people. Oh, doing custom profiles. Yes. So custom profiles. You need to learn how those work and learn how to set up your shipping settings if you're going to do bundled shipping. And we'll talk about that tomorrow thoroughly so that you guys can understand that. Do you weigh the envelope you're shipping the items in also, or just the product? So Lighthouse Creations, it's a little bit complicated, but technically you should weigh both because you do have to visualize if a buyer buys only this one item, I need to have enough weight in the weight of the item so that when I go to ship it, it's at the correct weight. So you take an item, if it can go in a poly mailer, you only have to add 1 or 2 ounces, right? Because those don't weigh much. But if you're mailing it in a box, because it needs to be in a box because it's something more fragile that needs to be protected, then that's a whole different ballgame. That could put an item from, under a pound to over a pound. So you've got to add the weight of the total package. Now, the thing that gets complicated is, and I kind of don't love this, honestly, is that if you do that with every item, then ultimately you're kind of overcharging if it's under a pound. Once it hits a pound, it charges them the same rate of $9.21 until it hits 5 pounds if you have your shipping setting set for 5 pounds at a different rate than flat rate. Okay, so really it comes out in the wash. It comes out in the wash because if they buy a few items, really it only takes a few items most of the time for them to hit that pound, depending on what you sell. So if you're selling really tiny, small, lightweight items, try to keep the weight of the item more exact, but you do have to add some packaging weight, but keep it more exact so that if they buy 5 and it's still going to be under a pound, that it's still going to be under a pound and you don't overcharge them. It's a little bit tricky. So yeah. But yes, the post office needs to know the total weight with the package. And that especially counts for anything that you send Ground Advantage or regular priority, not flat rate. The dimensions of the package and the weight do matter because everything is regionalized and everything depends on the weight. And then sometimes the dimensions, especially if you go over a certain size. So yeah. All right. Let me again just read the show notes and make sure you have those screenshotted, because those bullets that are in there, those starred bullets, those are the things that help you know where to go for help. So the first one is the Whatnot Seller account here on the app that you can go and watch the shows that they do. Let's go look there. I'm trying to remember when the next scheduled one, I think it was pretty soon. And make sure you have those bookmarked and notifications turned on for the Whatnot Seller account, because they do really good shows on that account to help you. So yes, tomorrow, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, that's my time. So that would be 8 a.m. Eastern Time, is a seller fireside chat with the Dawn's Luxury. I love the fireside chats. They help you get a lot of insight into successful sellers and what they're doing to be successful. And you pick up a lot of good tips. You get you get to get in the brain of that person and kind of see how they think and see what they've done to become successful. So make sure you are able to watch those. And unfortunately, they took past shows away. And so your only chance is to watch it live. So if you can possibly go tomorrow at 10 a.m., make the time to do it and watch that live. And it's really good because you also get a lot of good information from the chat, because people talk about different things. Some other people will give other tips. It's well worth your time. And then on the 7th of May is going to be the product spotlight. Those are the shows they do at the beginning of every month to highlight any product updates that have happened or are going to happen that they can announce. So make sure you have those bookmarked. And then they've got some scheduled out for the rest of May and into June. So make sure you have all those bookmarked. They've just added the June ones because I don't have those bookmarked, so I do now. All right, so Whatnot Sellers, make sure you go follow that account and have all those shows bookmarked. They are definitely well worth your time. And then the second bullet in my show notes is Seller Academy. Some of the videos on there need updated, but it is a really good place to go for basic information about how to sell, get set up on the app. So make sure you utilize Seller Academy, selleracademy.whatnot.com. Go through all the tutorials. If you're new and you haven't done the tutorials on Seller Academy, shame, shame, shame. You need to do that. You need to do the tutorials. You work during their lives. I know a lot of people do. I kind of wish that they would turn on past shows at least for that account. But I think they decided, it's either all or nothing. So, yeah, I'm going to suggest that they do something so that we can watch those, because it's just like it's there and then it's gone and we don't have a chance to get that information back. So, all right. And then the third bullet is help.whatnot.com. Your first inclination, if you have a question about how to do something on the app, just think about it this way. If you have a job and it's there's some technical things you have to know, and you're sitting at your desk doing this job, you almost always have a manual or something in the software you use, help, whatever. Well, it should be no different on Whatnot. You should be going to help.whatnot.com, typing in the thing you're looking for and getting help. So utilize those things. Utilize the Seller Academy. Utilize help.whatnot.com. They're in the Market Mod. They're in the show notes. I'm looking at the starred bullets in the show notes. So open the show notes, and there's those 4 starred bullets. Okay. So make sure you screenshot those, and then you can just have them for reference. And then the last one on there is that Whatnot has a blog, and they post articles, and they post updates to the app, and they have links on there, and the blog is really good. So make sure you have the show notes screenshotted so you can reference those help ways to get help. All right, everyone, thanks for joining. Vintage Artifacts, Fern's Attic, Vintage Treasures, Andrea, Lane, Elizabeth, Kindle Happy is here. Welcome, everyone. Second Moon Vintage is here. All right, so yeah, read the show notes. Make sure you have everything screenshotted in there that is a reference. And if you want to be able to access my past shows, make sure you go out to YouTube and subscribe to my channel on YouTube, Draz on Whatnot. It's in the show notes, and you can watch the past chats that we've had and see, catch up on anything you missed. All right, let's talk about one of the more recent updates. It was here briefly, went away briefly, and now it's back, I think, permanently. And that is the ability to scan UPC codes and have a product preload quite a few things. So when you go to add a product now and you click to add the pictures, it gives you the options to upload a picture, take a picture with the camera, and now there's a third option to scan a UPC code. So if you sell anything that's new in the package and it's current enough that you can scan the UPC, it will actually bring up a stock photo of the item. It will also fill in part or all of the title for you and also give you a description. You're going to want to edit, if it's too big of a description, you may want to shorten it. If it, the title, you're going to want to check it and make sure it doesn't have some weird things in there. And then you also need to take some photos. But once you take photos and put them on there, it will put the stock photo as the main photo. That is on mobile. On web, you can also do the same thing if you have a handheld scanner or you manually type in the UPC code. So you can do it on both web and mobile. On web, you would have to have a handheld scanner that you connect to your computer. Most people don't want to invest in that. But you can type in manually the UPC code. So this is when you're adding an item. And I don't know for sure if it's on both Android and iPhone. I know it's on iPhone. Okay. So those of you on Android, let me know if you've seen that. So it's when you go to add a listing and then you click to add photos, you can either upload, take, or now scan the UPC. So that is back. It was here briefly, and then they had took it away because there were some glitches, and now it's back. So I'm excited about that. I do use it, not for everything, but I've been able to use it on quite a bit of things, and that's really handy to just, bam, have everything kind of preload. The other day we were talking about welcome in Cool Woman 501. The other day we were talking about some of the other things that have been recently updated or added, and one of those is just a second, my brain kind of glitched here for what I was going to say. The updates that are, that when they share the updates on like the Whatnot sellers account, they go through and tell you kind of all the details about them, and then they also post them in the blog with links so that you can link to the articles about them and get more details about them. So make sure you go to the blog and look at all the past articles about different updates that have happened to the app so that you can click the links to read in more depth about some of those updates. Let me think about the one that I was specifically thinking about that I can't remember right now. I was talking about it the other day. What is it? It'll come to me in a second. Anyway, thanks for joining, everyone. Read the show notes. Make sure you screenshot the show notes and screenshot those starred bullets. I am live walking on my treadmill while we chat, so it does have a little bit of limitation as far as being able to, share things specifically with you. But I watch the chat, answer questions, and I can show you some things. So, yeah. AM to PM Luxury, welcome in. If you're new to me, also make sure that you go into my auction tab. So click the little store. So on your screen, click the little store and go to the auction tab. I have 7 items in there that are all documents. They're all documents that you can screenshot. Stay home. Do I know if FedEx and UPS shipping are available for at least one seller, maybe beta? So I think it's UPS, and yes, it's in beta. So that's all I know about it at this point. So there are some sellers, I think, who have access to some UPS shipping because they're beta testing, doing some alternative shipping, but they haven't released what it is and when it's rolling out for anyone else. So that is what I can tell you about that. I might have more information about that soon because we are doing a kind of like a community seller thing where the community sellers who participate, we're going to be on a call with Whatnot soon about shipping to learn about any updates. So I might have more information soon about that, but I don't know. But I do know that there is some beta testing for other shipping options. Yeah. What was that last one? Market Ma. Oh, that was before. Okay. All right. So yeah, just put any questions you have in the chat or comments that you want me to respond to. Put a question mark on them so that they show up in bold. Yeah, of course, stay home to shop. Just message me and I can try and respond. So we do have, those of us who are part of the community seller group, we do have a direct way that we provide questions and feedback to the actual Whatnot employees. So it's really important to us that you tell us things that you're seeing, questions that you have that we might not be able to answer at this point. We have a way that we can provide direct feedback, and they want us to do that because they need to know, what people are seeing, what glitches are happening or problems you're having overall, so that they can try and respond and find solutions. And so, you don't always instantly get what you want or things answered, but I will tell you that they do care. They do listen. One of the things they do on those, so on that account, that's the Whatnot Seller account, they actually download the entire chat during those sessions, and they comb through it and look at all the comments and see what people are complaining about, see what people are commenting about, see what questions people had, and that helps them to improve the app. So they do care. They are constantly making adjustments, making new changes to help make things better, easier, smoother, all of the good stuff. So, compared to any other platform that I've been on, Whatnot is hands down the most connected to their users that I've ever seen. And I've sold on almost every platform that's out there. So you're in a good place. They do care. They want this to be successful for you and everybody else. And, so keep doing what you're doing. Come to shows like this and give your feedback, because they do care. Heart-centered soul. I'm curious if people are having success with variants. Oh, that's one of the updates that was recent. Variants. So you can go now into your items that you list in the buy it now status. So either in your marketplace or in your buy it now during live auctions. And you can add variants. So when you list an item, you can have people, well, let me just show you on here in a second, and I'll show you how to do variants. It's pretty simple. Do you get to keep your followers if you change to a shop name from a regular account, if that makes sense? Yes, you do. So if you come on here as a buyer and then you apply to sell, even if you change your name, it's still the same account. And so anyone that previously followed you will still be your follower. You just might want to, in your profile, say previous, AKA or previously known as, and give a little explanation as to why you changed your name, so people know it's the same person from before, just that you're now, using a better name for your selling account. And that's actually pretty good advice. If you've been on here as a buyer for a long time and you want to sell and you feel like it's important to change your username, then do it. But don't get a whole new account, because then, you lose all that networking and all those followers that you had before. So you probably want to keep the same account, just update the name, and then let people know in your profile, I'm so and so, I was this before, and really deeply consider whether it matters, because you do have a certain, people get used to who you were, Dawn Mill, and it may be okay to keep that name. Just really think it through. Make sure you think it through wisely. And because the other thing about choosing a name to sell under, some people will give the advice that it needs to make sense for what you sell. Like, people could read your name and go, oh, she sells this kind of stuff. And I'll be honest with you, there's some words out there that are so overused that I wouldn't be able to tell one from the other, because there's too many people with that word in their seller name. So maybe, depending on what you're selling, stay away from certain words that are overused, because too many people sell in, for example, vintage. How many people have vintage in their username? make sure you put something else in the front of the word vintage if you feel like you need to use that, so that you're more recognizable and separate from everybody else who's using that word. Does that make sense? So yeah, be thoughtful about it. And be careful about starting a whole new account, because then you're starting over from scratch. That makes sense. All right. Yes, and always have shows. Art centered. Yeah, so vintage, thrift, luxe, crafty. Yeah, there's a lot of them that have just gotten way overused because there's so many people on the app now that it's like, I mean, it's funny because it's like in the sewing community, a lot of the sellers use the word sew or sewing in their username. And now it's got to where there's so many of them. It's like, which one is it? So we have to try to be a little bit more creative and make it recognizable, but maybe it's not as important as you think to have a word in your username that tells what you sell. And the other caution too is you might come on here thinking you're going to sell X, and then a few months down the road you realize that that's not working for you. It's not your passion, and you completely change what you sell. That's very possible, and then you're stuck with a username for something that you don't even sell anymore. So, yeah. You like my new shop graphics? Oh, do I have new graphics? Some new ones. So, yeah, you may just leave it, Dawn. It, like I said, it just depends on a lot of factors. And if you've built a good network and a good following, and you don't want people to be confused about who you are, it may be okay just to leave it. Oh, my little Draz that I made. Yeah, I've had that for a couple, probably 4 or 5 months. But I finally came up with a logo that I liked, and so I've stuck with that for a while. It took me forever to decide what I wanted to use. So it's called Your Logo. Yeah. So my little Draz logo that has the sewing machine and the quilted stuff. So yeah, that's my logo. Let me tell you about stuff like that. So there's a lot of apps out there that you can use now that use AI, and you can make some beautiful thumbnails. And it's fun. I've actually kind of gotten addicted to making thumbnails and stuff because it's a lot of fun. So if you look at my shows, some of them are pretty consistent, but as far as, because I do some similar stuff like the walk and talk, I want that to be, I've just been using the same thumbnail, so it's very recognizable. I might update it at some point. But if you look, I use AI generated thumbnails on most of my shows. And look how pretty you can make them. I mean, it's got all this fun detail. It's eye-catching. It's pretty. And I just use Canva. So the app Canva, there's a free version. It's somewhat limited, but you can still do some pretty good stuff with that. There's some other, apps out there that do a lot of the same kind of stuff. But learn how to use something like that. It is worth your time to get really good logos, thumbnails, backdrops, all that good stuff, because it makes it eye-catching. And you need to have things to catch people's eye, because there's so many sellers, and if you don't have something that looks professional and beautiful and fun and inviting, you're probably going to miss a lot of bookmarks, a lot of people coming into your shows, because you need something that looks more inviting and professional. So, find and use one of those free apps that will help you make thumbnails, logos that you can use. And it's not that difficult to learn them and use them. Trying to think about, that a lot of people just use, a picture of something. I think it's important too that it's good to use pictures of what you're actually going to sell, but make sure it looks nice. Honestly, if you just show a cardboard box on the floor full of some junk, you know, so think about how that looks to people versus, a cute shelf with everything all on it, or and maybe an AI generated is better, just something that kind of shows a picture of what type of items you sell, but not specific. And then what you do is you add a video that actually can maybe scan some of the stuff you have for sale. So, because you have two options, you can put a thumbnail on there and you can also do a video. So, if you look at my schedule, the show that I have today has a video. So, when you open that or when you're out looking, it has a video of the fabrics that I'm going to be selling today. See how it moves around through the fabric. So I think having both is important. And you don't have to have a video every time, but I kind of called it my 24-hour. I have a video 48 to 24 hours before the show. Having a video there will improve your bookmarks. Because it catches people's eye because they're scrolling in the For You page and this fancy video comes up, and it catches their eye. But people aren't usually going to see it until about 24, 48 hours out. That's when that show is up high enough in search now in the schedule for people to start seeing it. Okay. Now, of course, your main group, your main followers that are in your regular shows are going to be bookmarking your upcoming shows. And so that's, they will have already seen it, but just the general out there in the search feed, those videos do make a difference. And in one of my chats, we talked about doing a 24-hour lead up where you post a video at least 24 hours, better probably 48 hours in advance of that show beginning to kind of boost your bookmarks and do some social media sharing with that same video out on social media to bring some more people in. So definitely use nice thumbnails and put videos on, and it will help increase your bookmarks. It does stop them for a second because people see a video pop up instead of just a flat thumbnail, and it's like, oh, what's this? So it's more eye-catching. All right. Let's see. Hey, Nana Stacey's, how are you? Thanks for coming in. And videos aren't hard to make. Just, you can just show the stuff that you're getting ready for the show. Maybe say a few words, maybe just leave it silent, whatever you think works best. And they do make a difference. And again, like I said, if you make a nice little video, then you go out and post it on Facebook and on Instagram and on YouTube and on TikTok or wherever you have a social media presence, and it will start getting you some more bookmarks, some more attention, bring people to the app, and so on. So, yes, thank you, Heart-Centered Soul. Everyone remember, please, the show tomorrow about shipping. So if you have any concerns about shipping, you're still trying to figure shipping out, tomorrow we're going to go through it thoroughly. We're going to do a lot of visual things to try and help you figure out what's going to work for you for shipping, and kind of how to curate your shows so that the shipping is not a nightmare. So make sure you have that show bookmarked for tomorrow. Hey, yeah, whatever. How you doing today? Welcome in. All right. Anyone have any specific questions today that we need to go over? We were talking about the update of being able to use your mobile device. If you're adding a listing, you can scan the UPC code and it will give you a stock photo, fill in some or all of a good title and a description for you. So that's a nice update to the app. Make sure you have this show notes screenshotted. And let me just pin a couple of my documents. Again, just go into the store, go into the auction, and all those documents that are in there are things that you can screenshot to have that information. So auction tab in my store, all those things. Let me just pin top 10 tips. I don't see a lot of people that are super new to me in here, but if you're new to me and you've never screenshotted this, so I just pinned Draz top 10 tips. Just tap the picture of that document, tap it again, and get a nice screenshot of my top 10 tips. So this was something that came about because people were coming into my seller chats and asking questions about all the things on this list besides shipping. So this doesn't talk about shipping because that's a whole nother beast. But these are all the top 10 tips I had. I wrote them down. So I'm like, everybody's asking about this, and this. So what are the things I need to have on a list that people can just go, boom, these are the things I need to be doing. So that's what generated this list. So it's kind of like your 10 commandments of all the things you should be doing regularly and consistently on Whatnot to be successful as a seller. So make sure you have that list screenshotted, refer back to it regularly, go through it and say, am I doing this? Am I doing this? Am I doing this? Am I doing it consistently? How often am I doing this? And maybe make some changes. Okay. Hey, Bonnie Brickle, how are you today? What's going on? All right. So number 1 on my top 10 list is schedule shows. That seems so simple, but you would be amazed how many people that are new schedule a show, have a show, don't have any other shows scheduled for people to bookmark, and don't realize that if you don't have a lot of shows scheduled, it's going to be hard to get some traction. So you need to have a lot of shows scheduled. And when you do your first live show, you dang well better have at least one more show scheduled for people to bookmark so that they can find you the next time. Because how else are they going to find you? Yeah, they might follow you, but if you don't already have a show scheduled that they can bookmark, the chances of them being on and finding you again are pretty slim. So make sure you have shows scheduled. Lots of shows that people can bookmark. You can always reschedule, change the date, change the time, change, things around on those shows you've scheduled as needed, but at least you have something for people to start bookmarking and finding you again. Okay? That's my number 1 tip. Schedule shows. A lot of them. Okay? I schedule a show for every holiday in 2025. If I decide not to have it, it goes out to 2026. Yeah, there you go. If you get shows scheduled and then you decide you're not going to do a live that day, you just move it out to a different date. Okay? Don't be in the habit of doing that so often that your show schedule looks like a train wreck, that people go in and you've got, because I'll be honest, I've seen sellers like that where they're constantly moving them and they accidentally put them all on the same date in the future. And then that date comes up and you open their schedule and they have 20 shows scheduled on the same day, often at the same time. And you're like, what? Don't do that. That's weird. That looks sketchy. And you're like, why would you have 20 shows scheduled on the same date at the same time? It's because they've been moving, something out and they keep doing it. And yeah, so don't do that. That looks weird. And people are like, okay, this person's got issues. All right. So make sure it makes sense. But yes, you can always move them out, change them, do what you need to do. Number 2 tip is go live as soon as you can. But with the caution, make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you've practiced. Make sure you've gotten help. Make sure you've gotten feedback. Make sure you know how to ship, at least a basic knowledge of how shipping works before you start going live so that you don't get yourself in trouble. But start doing shows as soon as you can so that you start that process. Every day that you wait is a missed opportunity. This app is growing so exponentially fast that every day you wait is one less day of you being able to build up your account and get going. Oh, Dawn says you did that. It was embarrassing. Yeah, I think probably everyone has probably done that at least once. And then gone, oh, what is this show on my schedule? I didn't even know it was here. How did this get here? Yeah. So House of Good says, yes, I've only had 2 shows so far, but I feel so relieved that I finally ripped the Band-Aid off. Yes. Yes. And you realize now probably that even though it's hard and even though it was nerve-wracking, you're like, I've done this and oh my gosh, I can do it again. It's kind of like that realization that you survived and you'll be able to do it again. Yeah, it's way more fun than it is stressful. I agree. And you should have that attitude that you're going to have fun because it really is fun. It's fun, it's exhilarating, it's a blast to start getting to know people. It's so much fun when people start buying your stuff. And if you've put some thought and effort into, making it entertaining and fun and having good products, it's so rewarding to have people start buying your things, start interacting with you, start telling you how nice your items are, etc., etc., etc. So just do it. Just do it. Put in the time, get ready, make it happen, and just do it. So it is awesome. So yeah, those nice looking thumbnails. There are plethora of amazing apps you can use to make really cool thumbnails. I use Canva. They have an awesome AI tool in there that you just tell it what you want and it comes up with all these beautiful, amazing things that I could never have made in 100 years. And it's awesome. So yeah, use one of those apps out there like that to make yourself some beautiful thumbnails. All right, number 3 on my list is list items. List. Keep listing items. Always list. Because how are people going to know what you have to sell if you have nothing in your store, nothing in your auctions, nothing in your buy it now? You have nothing. It's like walking into a store and you open the door and the shelves are empty. What is your assumption? Oh, they must be closed, or oh, they must have gone out of business, or oh, they're moving or something, right? Well, that's the same thing on this app. Did we just get a raid? Looks like we got a raid from Canada, the Red Rooster. Thank you so much, Red Rooster, for the raid. Everybody give Red Rooster a follow and make sure you're joining her in the Great White North mornings. She's on almost every morning. She has awesome information, and it's just a lot of fun. And good morning to you. Let's see. I just noticed Buy It Now shows. Interesting. Oh, where someone goes live chats and you just buy out of their Buy It Now. Yeah, you can do that too, but there is a rule that you have to still be interacting. You can't just go live and not be there in front of the camera and tell people to buy out of your Buy It Now. That's actually against terms of service. So you still have to be there in the chat, interacting. You don't have to show your face necessarily, but you have to be there talking. You technically are not supposed to do a live where you just open the show and there's a sign that says, please buy from my Buy It Now. That is against terms of service. Yeah. So Peacock Jewelry, if you've seen that, that's actually against terms of service. So you're supposed to, be there in the show, even if you're just selling out of your Buy It Now, which is 100% fine. You need to be interacting with your audience. All right. So everybody give our awesome friend, the Red Rooster, let me pin her name in chat again, a follow, and make sure you're following her and bookmarking her upcoming shows, because she does seller chats regularly, more often than I'm on, and I feel like I'm on too much now. So yeah, how do you pin like what I just did? So it's super simple, pink funky. You just click on someone's name. So if you're on a mobile device, you just click their name. If you're on the computer, you can click it with the mouse, with the clicker pointer, and then a menu comes up. So let me show you by clicking your name. So here we are in chat. I'm going to click your name, and this menu comes up. Okay. So I'm going to follow you since you just came up, and then look at the options. I can view your profile. I can message you. I can mention you in the chat. And that's what I did, is mention in chat. So I'm going to mention you in the chat. So I just clicked your name and it put you in the chat. So that's how. Yeah, so there's a lot of things. Just clicking someone's name allows you to do all the things. It also allows them to moderate. If you click it, you can invite them to co-host, which is where it splits the screen and both of you are on screen. You can remove someone from the show. So if you have a troll come in and start saying crap, or someone's obviously got issues and they're saying crap, you can remove them from the show. And you can also block someone. So if you have someone egregiously coming in your shows, you've removed them before and they come back again and you need to block them, you can do that. You can also report someone, and it's probably best to report them before you block them so that you can report them. Okay? So those are the things on that menu. Which one do you have to do on a computer only? The report. So Lighthouse says, I'm always talking and showing my items. I talk a lot. Well, that's good, because talking a lot keeps the chat lively, keeps people interested, and it's dead air. That's when people are like, yawn, fall asleep, or leave, right? So talking a lot is good. Oh, to mod someone or whatever. No, you can do it on mobile device, just like I was showing. That was a iPad. I tell people what I'm eating for dinner and how the weather is. Yeah, just anything really, you need to have an interactive chat. Um, an interactive chat is one of the ways the algorithms show people shows higher in search. So if you have a really active chat, people are talking, people are interacting, that is a good thing because it tells the algorithms, the bots, that there's some stuff happening in this show. People are having fun, people are commenting. It's a lively show. And so it will invite more people by putting you up higher in the search. So an interactive chat is a good thing. Let's see. Add clips to your profile. It helps give people a sneak preview of your show style. Yes. So the Stay Home's giving Lighthouse Creations some advice. You should always have some information in your profile so that people kind of get to know a little bit about you. So here's what I have in mind. And I kind of like to bullet point it out instead of having a big paragraph. I think it makes it easier to read. Throw some emojis in there, make it cute. I change mine up every once in a while. I get sick of it, bored of it, change it up. But yeah, put stuff in your profile so people can get to know a little bit about you. And, it helps them to know if they're going to like your vibe and see if you have things in common, stuff like that. So put some stuff in your profile for people to read. Bonnie says she always switches hers up. Yeah, I do too, because it's another thing that people can be like, oh, she put something new in here. What is that? And they're going to take a second to look at it. So change things up every once in a while. Here's another tip about your buy it now. So see how on your screen it shows items in the little shop. So it's featuring right now my taffy. And by the way, if you haven't bought taffy from us, you're missing out. But go in and reorder by using a numbering system of some sort. Go in every once in a while and reorder the things in your buy it now, so that when people come in your shows, it features different things in different shows so that they can see something new. Because if you have them in the same order all the time, it may not, people are just used to seeing that. They may not even click your bin because they just see that same thing every time they open your show. So make sure and change up the order of the items in your bin and be listing new items in your bin regularly. And for Pete's sakes, have stuff in your buy it now. Always, 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 always. Always have stuff for sale in your buy it now. If you don't, you are missing out on a lot of opportunities for a lot of different reasons. One, you have other stuff for sale that people can shop if they're not interested in the auction items you have. When there's a little bit of a downtime during giveaways, people can shop in your bin. When there's a pause for whatever reason, people can shop in your bin. You can use the items in your bin to run. House of Goods just bought some yummy taffy. Thank you. When you can pull items from your bin and run them as an auction. You could run them as flash sales. There's so many awesome things you can do with buy it now. And so you need to have things in your buy it now. It is good. You will not be disappointed. And you bought the sugar-free, which is my favorite because not only is it half the fat and no sugar, it stays softer than the other sugared ones for some reason. Probably because sugared naturally hardens over time, whereas the maltitol and stuff they use in sugar-free stays a little bit softer. Anyway, it's delicious. You will love it. And you'll be back for more. I'm sorry. Not sorry. So we buy it here in Utah fresh from the factory. because Salt Lake City is known for saltwater taffy because we have the Great Salt Lake. And this company that we buy it fresh from the factory has been in business for over 100 years making saltwater taffy. And it's the best taffy you've ever tried. So very, very good. And it's just something that we added on to what we sell. And this would be a tip for you. Okay. What is something that is unique to where you live? Some kind of treat, some kind of product that you could possibly sell on your app, sell on your shop, in your shop on Whatnot. Maybe there isn't something, but maybe you can find something cool. Doesn't necessarily have to be food or snack or treat. Maybe it's an item that is a local or regional thing that not everybody can find elsewhere, and you can offer it as an item for people to buy. I researched that and I'm like, hey, we have some really unique things in Utah, and one of them is saltwater taffy. And you know, although they have a website and you can buy it on their website, people aren't going to necessarily think to do that, right? But I probably made them some good business because we've started offering their taffy on our shows, and we introduce some of their new flavors out to the world. And I've had people contact me and say, hey, you know, and they go to their website and they're buying additional taffy to give as gifts or because we ran out or whatever, right? So House of Goods in Texas, I will sell tacos and barbecue. Yeah. But hey, you know, think about it. What is there? Maybe there's a barbecue sauce in Texas that you can get in smaller bottles that other people can't get. Yeah, pralines, exactly. There might be something, you know, and just do your research, make sure it makes sense. And I'm not saying everybody has to do that, but it's something that you can do to add value and make something fun that you can sell. So we buy it in bulk. Sometimes it's pre-packed, sometimes we package it, but they're pre-wrapped candies, obviously. And we can sell it at a good price, and we flash sale it, and it's something people can add to their order to get a little treat and have something that they can't normally go out and buy in their area. So there's a tip for you. Find something fun like that. All right. I need to get going because I've been on for an hour and 15 minutes. And so I'm going to go find someone that we can raid into. Please, 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 if you're having issues with shipping, please come to my show tomorrow, or make sure that you remember to go rewatch it on YouTube. My YouTube channel address is in the show notes. Isn't it an address? No, the link. Subscribe to my channel on YouTube. It's Draz on Whatnot, all one word, Draz on Whatnot. It's in the show notes. Go subscribe. You'll be able to rewatch past shows. So if you can't be there because you're at work tomorrow or something, you can rewatch it. And I'm going to do a lot of visual things because I decided we need to kind of be able to visualize how we do shipping. And so I'm going to show you a lot, excuse me, a lot of things visually so that it will help you. Okay? All right, let me go out and see who we can raid. Oh, I have a sticker to give away. Everybody getting this giveaway. I have a Whatnot sticker to give away. I found a few extra that I had left from our in-person event. So everybody getting that giveaway while I go find who we're going to raid. And we'll draw it pretty quick. It's a nice black W vinyl sticker, Whatnot logo. And let me go see who we can raid into. Let me just see if anyone else is doing community shows this morning that we can raid into. Not really. All right, let me see where we're going to go. We're going to raid into Philly Flipper. He's doing his birthday blowout. And he's going to try and sell 2,222 items before he goes off. So everybody go in, give him some love if you can afford to buy something so that he doesn't have to stay on longer. Maybe help him out. He's probably got some awesome stuff in the Buy It Now. So that's where we're going to go. He's my friend here, part of the community sellers. He does seller chats as well. And so that'll be fun to raid into his birthday show. All right. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, everybody. And let me get that raid started after I do pull the giveaway. So let me pull that giveaway first. That would be good, right? All right. Did everybody get in that wants to be in to get a Whatnot sticker? It's free. They sent it to me. I pay 63 cents to send it to you in an envelope. Well, 73 cents. So no reason to not be in that giveaway. I'll give you 10 seconds counting down. If you want a free Whatnot sticker, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get in the giveaway. We're going to draw. Here we go. Who gets it? It's going to Sassamom. Sassamom, you're lucky in my shows. You win a lot. That's awesome. So you get a Whatnot sticker. Congrats. Congrats. You are so welcome. All right. Let's go raid into Philly Flipper. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Here we go. And please bookmark tomorrow's show. And if you love fabric, come to my show today. We're doing Kaffe. And we'll see you all soon.